Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Caden, this is Stephanie, and this is Real Talk Real Estate.
In today's video, we are going to be going over what actually happens in a CMA report and how realtors kind of come up with that final number that we list your house at. So we'll kind of just take turns going step by step through the process. I don't know how Caden does his CMAs. It could be completely different. There's obviously a baseline for how things kind of happen, but everybody has their own little
tweaks and
yeah. So, Caden, if you may.
Sure, yeah, kicked me off right off the bat. I kind of do it in like a two-step. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Two different appointments essentially is kind of how I like to run it, just as a general basis. Obviously, you have different situations where if you know the person or you know the house already, it's a lot easier to kind of base a value off that. But without having your eyes on the property, if it's something new to you, I find it hard to just spitball a number right out at somebody. So when someone reaches out to me or if there's that first point of contact, I like to have an appointment at their house with them so I can do a walkthrough. I like to take pictures of everywhere I'm going through, so when I come back to the office and I start to compare the listings, I'm not just basing it off of what I remember.
Yeah.
Because what you see and what you remember, in my mind, are two different things.
Yeah.
So to just get a good walkthrough, I like to sit down with the client and get from their perspective, because they're going to know this house 100 times better than we are.
Exactly.
All of the ins and outs that they have, their favorite pieces, maybe they're not favorite pieces. Just any little bit that'll help us dictate and differentiate that against another property.
Yeah, that's smart. And that's kind of how I do it too. I think, when I have that initial touch point of somebody reaching out wanting a CMA, I'll really push for the appointment and the importance of getting face-to-face in person.
Yep.
But, sometimes if they're a little bit further out, I'll do just kind of like not a mock-up, but I'll do an online CMA report for them, which I do tell my clients. I'm like, I need to see the house in person first. This is just a very rough estimate. But no, I agree with you with going in and taking pictures. That's smart. And that's proved to help me quite a bit too when you're referring back to physical pictures instead of just off from memory. And then, I think sellers' checklists are important too. And like Caden said, just asking the seller what features of their home they like, what they don't like, what was the reason they bought the house, what drew them to the home in the first place, their favorite parts about the home.
That's
I
like
think
a
that's
first date.
You
gotta figure out all the good info.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I think that's a very important first step, making that connection, making sure that you can work with the seller accordingly. I mean, if it's not a good fit, then you kind of waste your time with getting all that put together. And
you're also going to see the place, but you're going and meeting this person and presenting yourself, and it has to be a match both ways too.
Exactly.
It's not just a one-way street. So you kind of get that personalization to it as well.
Yeah.
But once that first appointment's done, go back to the office. You can kind of set up shop, and now you know what you're looking at and what you have to compare up against to. So how do you kind of start your full CMA when you actually when you start to dig into the comparables? Where do you normally start?
So when I start, normally if the home had been listed on MLS previously, I'll pull up the old listing and I'll kind of have a look through that. Based off of that, then I go through and pull important information. I see what's changed. I see what's different, and I'll print off the CMA report and I'll go through and physically cross things out and make notes all over it. They end up looking really messy, but after I'm kind of finished with that, then I'll go back onto the MLS, put all that same criteria in, kind of zone out the neighborhood and surrounding areas, and I'll pull up comparable properties. Once I find my list of comparables, then same thing. I go through and all the actives, pendings, solds within the last 6 months. 6 to 3 months I do. Normally, if I can do 3, I'll do 3, but if I have to extend it to
Sometimes
6,
you
I'll
have
do
to push
6.
that,
But after that, I go through all the photos. I see kind of where they're at for, condition-wise. Layout can be important too, if they're updated, stuff like that. Pull which ones are closest and then kind of find a median.
Yeah, that's about the exact same here. I mean, I think that part's kind of pretty straightforward.
I think that's
across
like
the map for sure.
Baseline, that's how it goes.
And then that all kind of gets compiled into a full report that then on my step 2 is when I like to sit down again with that client, and I like to go over that in person. Obviously, not every time works out like that. But if it does, and you're able to sit down and go over the comparables together and kind of show why these are the ones that you chose, why they're similar exactly.
Yeah.
The comparison between the two to show that the price that you're getting down to really has a basis behind it. You're not just taking a shot in the dark.
Yeah, exactly. I think exactly what Kaden said. It is really important to be able to get in front of your client to go over the CMA report if you have the chance to. I mean, some people are a little bit more hands-on themselves, so they are able to go through the report in depth and kind of understand it themselves. But I think, our due diligence and our job as a realtor is to sit down and give that clear, straightforward advice and be there for questions to be asked. So I think, third step for me, getting down and sitting with the client and going over everything, very, very important.
But and like we said, sometimes that just doesn't happen. Schedules, work, life, all this. I mean, I had one, it was actually my first listing. Very first time I met them and was able to walk through the place, didn't really have a full CMA yet. They handed me the keys like half an hour later.
Yeah, you told me about that. That's awesome.
So some aren't always as generic and straightforward. You're always kind of playing to the tune of some sort of difference there. But as a general basis, that's kind of the straightforward viewpoint of how they go. Yeah.
View the house, take your notes, meet the sellers or seller, get to know them, learn their favorite features, figure out what price they have in mind as well, so that people always have kind of a price that they think their home is worth. So I think working along the baselines of that as well. I also like to see, like I said, pull up the old MLS sheet and see what they paid for their home when they bought it. But I think
in the end, our pricing is a suggestion that we give them.
It is a suggestion. People pick the pricing of their own listings.
Yes, we give them the ingredients, we give them the instructions, like we're making cookies. But how those cookies come out of the oven
is up to the sellers.
In the end, it's their call.
Yeah, we're there to advise. We're there to bring structure and some clarity. But overall, it's same with putting in offers too. Though you can advise and direct and guide, and if your buyer wants to go in 20 under, I mean, obviously it's not something we advise in certain conditions and markets, but overall they kind of get the final say. So, but that's pretty much what goes. I don't know how in depth we can really go.
I mean, you can always keep going and going, but that's a really good cover of it, I think. I mean, it's to some people maybe a pretty broad thing of how does it actually get to this number.
I can't tell you my secret sauce, man.
Well, exactly. Book an appointment and then we'll go from there.
Then we'll really get in depth with how it works. But we're not just like Kaden said, taking a shot in the dark. There are a lot of steps and procedures and research that goes into play when coming up with that number for your home. Yeah. Most of the time too, I mean, it's pretty spot on. I mean,
it is, and that's
following
the thing.
Market trends and
exactly the value that we're going to come out to is based off of comparables. Your neighbors' houses that sold, dude, like anything around you. I mean, sometimes you don't have the most up to date. Like we said, some places haven't seen a sale in a year sometimes, and you're going back, and then you have to adjust for where the market's at, where's the economy at. You're kind of playing off. Okay, well, it sold here then. Yeah. What is it what's it right now? So there's definitely some back and forth there, but
you have to know what you're doing and be updated with the market as an agent to be able to make those calls.
You have to, for sure. You have to know what's going on around you if you're I mean, I don't want to say shot in the dark then, but when you don't have a whole lot of sales history to back it off of, you're really kind of building yourself step by step to get there.
Absolutely.
It has to make sense. Yeah.
But that's kind of the gist of what goes into what your agent is doing for you when they say, hey, I'm going to run back to the office and do a quick CMA report. Get back to you soon. That's what goes on.
Yeah, it's not just a walk through the house and when we get back in the car, yep, $450.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, when you've been doing it for a bit and you go through a house, I know I go through places and you just start to pick out a range and you're like, yeah, okay, this makes sense. Sometimes you get back to the drawing board and it's like, maybe not. But that's kind of where I save the value giving until that second appointment.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I guess that kind of wraps up today's video. Very short and simple. But thank you for tuning into today's episode of Real Talk Real Estate. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit that post notification bell so you don't miss our next video. And we will see you in the next one.
See you in the next one.